What up, watch peeps? Most of you will know I love Wolbrook watches. I've reviewed my Skindiver Worldtimer. It's one of my favorite watches. Might be the best wearing watch that I own in terms of fit and comfort for me. And looks too, really. Well, I didn't have a chronograph. I was never really much of a chronograph guy, but when I heard they were putting one out in a similar package to the Skindiver, I was about it. This is a really great brand. Every time I've reached out to them, they've been incredibly responsive, and they're putting out some really cool stuff. So let's take a look. I'm Pete, and we are Chillin' with Watches. Wrist check. We're in the Alpinist today. This is an Uncle Seiko Jubilee that was actually made for the Dress KX, but if you're willing to pinch the end links to make them tighter, it works pretty good. So let's take a look at this Wolbrook. So came packaged pretty cool. You got a bag in a box. And inside the drawstring bag, you will find another box. And inside the box, you will find another bag. No, I'm just kidding. You'll find all the stuff. So you get your warranty card. I think I showed this to you guys at the unboxing. You get your, I'm call it an instruction manual, but you get your kind of little card here that has this remake of one of their ads from the 70s. Super cool. A couple extra quick release spring bars because this thing uses all quick release, which is fantastic. I love that. Really cool one watch carrier. Inside you got your Wolbrook, or in this case the Douglas. So hands are a little bit in the way. But like the non-chronograph Skindivers, these come in a couple different configurations. There's the Pro, which I have here, and then there's also the non-Pro or the standard. I don't know. They both use the same meca-quartz movement in the case of these chronographs. Now the standard is branded with Wolbrook and has a sapphire crystal. Let's take a look at the different colorways of that. So you'll see they come in a lot of colorways. You have black with kind of an old radium loom. There's a blue dial. You have the reverse panda, which I think looks awesome. This full PVD model. It's kind of a white dial with old radium loom, and they come on different straps, bracelets, bun strap combos. Blue dial's real pretty too. And again, you get this full PVD bezel black dial version on bracelet. Reverse panda with either steel or black bezel. Kind of like this full PVD on the leather, looks great. Now the Pro that we have here is more in line with the vintage models, featuring an acrylic or Hesselite crystal, and it is branded as Douglas instead of Wolbrook. Plus they have a larger kind of big eye subdial here at 3 o'clock. So let's take a look at the professional colorways. Not quite as many colorway options with the professional. You get either steel or PVD bezels, black dials with either white loom or green loom. Those steel bezels look really cool. There's a full PVD model with the green loom. Kind of like that two-tone bun strap. All black white loom on a bracelet or all PVD on a bund. I chose the version that comes on the bun strap because the chronographs use the same exact bracelet as the Skindivers do. And since I bought the Skindiver on the bracelet, I figured I could use the bracelet from that if I ever wanted to wear it that way. And then having the bun strap would be, give me something different option, something that's a little bit fun. Now it's a really nice bun strap. It has a vegetable tanned Italian leather pad, and it comes on a nylon strap. They signed Wolbrook buckle, but you could really use any strap you wanted with this. You could use a leather strap if you wanted an all leather look. Now I chose the Pro model, which with the acrylic crystal and the green loom and the kind of one-piece black bezel, because it looks just like the vintage version of these watches if you were to search for them on eBay. And also I went with the sapphire crystal Wolbrook branded version on the Skindiver, so I thought this would give me again something different. Same basic dial and handset as the Skindiver has, with the addition of the bi-compact subdials, and those subdials are done really well. They sit low, they have these neat concentric rings to them, and the hands used on them are really great as well. This says central running seconds, and the minutes register is at 9 o'clock. Now, like I said, that 3 o'clock, that's just a 24-hour hand. Basically a glorified AM/PM indicator, but it does look fantastic. The pushers feel great when you activate them. You get a nice confirmation that you've activated the pusher. Looking at the crown side of the case, it has a signed crown. It is not a screw down crown, but I am okay with that. For you get your 100 meters of water resistance on a quartz watch, I'm just fine with that. See, it does have drilled lugs. And I love the case shape here. It just has this very consistent curve that goes throughout the case. Hardly any case back sitting out the bottom. Just hugs the wrists. It's real nice and low and contours to your wrist shape. Now, these meca-quartz movements, as you know, when you stop them, they have that instant reset, which is really nice. And I mentioned these all use quick release spring bars, which is great for changing out the straps. Even when you have it on the bund, they give you kind of quick release, so you can do everything without tools. And this has a really cool case back. This is the North American X-15. It's an experimental aircraft. There's basically a rocket that you fly. So let's see if I can show you how easy it is to get these. This is a quick release bracelet as well. Very similar to the quick release spring bar, except that it has a nub on both sides. And I find it's easiest to just kind of do one side at a time. And it goes right on just like that. I mean, it's honestly one of the easiest to use bracelets I've owned. Anytime you can change straps without a tool is great. That one went in first try. Going over the dimensions of the watch, we are looking at a 40mm case with a 48mm lug to lug. These come in at 13.5mm thick. Now that's including this domed Hesalite crystal. And they have a 20mm lug width. Going over some of the other specs, as I just mentioned, Hesalite crystal on this model, green C7 Super Luminova, and they run the Seiko VK64 movement. And they have 100 meters of water resistance. On the bracelet, sized for my 7¼ inch wrist, it came in at 115 grams. And on the bun strap, it comes in at a very light 73 grams. And here's how it wears on my 7¼ inch wrist. Like I said, one of the best wearing watches I have in terms of fit and just feel on wrist. Really sits nice. The curvature of the case is very ideal for my wrist shape. Let's take a look at it next to some other watches. So here it is next to the 41.5mm, maybe Orient Ray. You could see it's a little smaller of a package with a, I don't know. I was going to say with a larger dial, but I'm not sure. Maybe very slightly so. But for a chronograph, nice and thin, you take away that crystal, that meca-quartz movement, it's going to come in thinner than most divers. Next to the SKX, about 42.5. And again, Seiko uses that small dial which can play tricks on your eye, but you know, in person when I'm looking at it, it looks like a bulkier package, and I'm sure from the side, wearability wise, the SKX sits more on top of your wrist and doesn't quite wrap around your wrist as well as this one does. And the Alpinist, because I have it out here, I think the Alpinist is 39. And that lack of a bezel is making it look smaller despite its light colored dial. Alright, let's check out that loom.
Peep the loom.
You know, I'm not real familiar with this C7 loom before this watch, but it appears to be glowing quite nicely. It's not quite as bright as a C3, but it's pretty dang bright. Looks like a nice consistent application. That hour hand, the arrow, does look like the tip is glowing brightest of anything else on the dial, but the rest is all very consistent. There it is, guys. The Wolbrook Skindiver Worldtimer, Douglas, Big Eye, Professional Chronograph? I don't know. That's a lot of names. Whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call it the Douglas Big Eye. But whatever you want to call it, it is awesome. It's quickly become one of my favorites. It's got a slot in the keeper box right next to the Skindiver. That's 4 quarts in my 12-slot keeper box. All right, guys, before I let you go, sneaker check. I'm just wearing some old Nikes I found in my closet. It's kind of gross outside. All right, that's it. I'm out. If it's not too much trouble, like, subscribe, and come back next time. Peace.